How's it going, fight fans? Welcome to Mindful Combat. If you're new to this channel, my name is Rohan. It's my platform where I do MMA and boxing related content. If you're new here, then help me to grow my channel. All you got to do is hit the sub button, like the video, dislike it if you don't like it, and comment below with your thoughts on the video. Anyways, for this video, I'm going to be looking at Angela Lee from One Championship and how she fits in, or how she would fare against her counterparts in the UFC. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because lately I've been thinking about the whole scope of MMA in general and how champions in other organizations will fare against UFC fighters, UFC that seem to have the best fighters in the world. And with Ben Askren coming off 2 losses now, there's something to think about with, he was a Bellator champion, One Championship champion, came in highly touted, and hasn't had a ton of success. He got brutally KO'd by George Masvidal, who got submitted by Damian Maia, and even his fight with Robbie Lawler was controversial, so there's tons and tons of questions behind all of this. The biggest question that comes into with Angela Lee is her level of talent. Now, admittedly, she has not fought the level of talent that is available in the UFC. She's tried to fight for 2 titles. She's won 1 in One Championship, and she's revenged her most recent loss against Zhang, or however you say her name. Let's just that fighter. She revenged her last loss, and she looked pretty good revenging it. She has, however, taken them 2 losses, and those 2 losses do give us some scope to think about how good she actually is and what her roof is. The thing with Angela Lee that we got to remember, though, is that she's 23 years old. So she's still very young, still got tons of room to go. And with that motorcycle accident, knocking her back a year or so, in my opinion, with her becoming healthier, with her continuing to train, with her continually improving, we're going to be seeing a much better version of Angela Lee in the years to come than we see now in the years gone. So Angela Lee has a ton of potential, and I have no doubt she's going to do tons of great things. She's a superstar and over in One Championship, and it's obvious why she's a superstar. She's got a fun fighting style. She's got a world championship. Her brother's also a world champion, so there's that cool backstory, and she's obviously a very attractive young lady that gets a lot of attention, and that's the whole scope of everything as to why there's so much attention around her. Anyways, how does she scope against her counterparts in the UFC? Now, let's go through this. Firstly, I don't think that she does well against Zhang Weili. I think Weili Zhang, however you want to say it. She is an absolute beast of a fighter. She's well-rounded, she's strong, she hits hard, and I believe that Zhang Weili is a level above, or maybe even 2 levels above where she's ready to compete at right now. So I think universally we can agree that that's not a good fight for her. Funny enough, though, actually, a strange caveat to that is that actually would be a humongous fight for the UFC, because they're both superstars in Asia, and if they was to fight in Asia, headlining a card in Singapore or something, that would be a massive fight. So actually, maybe that's a fight that down the line would be a super fight in the women's realm, but she just has nothing for Zhang Weili at this time in her career. Maybe that's a fight that's later on down the road. Interesting how that one will play out. Next we've got Jessica Andrade. Now, Jessica Andrade's an interesting opponent. Whilst I think Jessica Andrade's much stronger than her, a better grappler than her, I believe Angela Lee enjoys the advantage over her, and when it comes to stand-up at 5'4", she's going to have some range on her as well, and Jessica Andrade does like to strike. Jessica Andrade has also taken tons of damage, and she's most recently been knocked out, proving that she is beatable. Angela Lee is a good striker, and I believe she's going to have a great advantage when it comes to technical, precise striking, and I tend to always go with the more technically superior striker. The difference is with Jessica Andrade is that she's a beast, she hits hard, and she's got very, very powerful takedowns and slams, and she would no doubt look to slam Angela Lee, who I believe, really by Western standards, could even be fighting at atom weight, but strawweight is fine for her. So I would slightly lean towards Jessica Andrade for that fight. I'll give her the edge, but that's a tough fight, that one there, and I think she has opportunities to win it. She'll have to have a very, very good game plan. But Jessica Andrade, I would give her the advantage. Now, Rose Namajunas, the former world champion who took out Joanna Jędrzejczyk not once but twice, is a very, very talented fighter. She was actually piecing up Jessica Andrade before she got caught. I think a lot of Rose is a very talented fighter, well-rounded. She's good everywhere. She's got a huge advantage over Angela Lee on the ground. But on the feet, things even up a bit more. I still give Rose a slight edge. If she can outstrike Joanna, then she can outstrike Angela Lee. I would think that Rose can win that fight. That's an interesting one, though. But I would lean towards Rose Namajunas to get that as well. So let's go further down. Now, ranked at number 3, we've got Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez is an interesting fight, because I would say Angela Lee enjoys a huge disparity when it comes to stand-up over Tatiana Suarez. Problem is, Tatiana Suarez is not going to come out there and strike with her. It's not kickboxing. Tatiana Suarez is going to go, she's going to try to take her down, she's going to try ground and pound her, try to smash her face into the canvas, and that's a horrible place to be against Lady Habib. And Tatiana Suarez is an animal. Now, she's got holes in her game, as Nina Ansaroff showed to the world. But I believe when it comes to the matchup, Angela Lee's a favourable matchup for Tatiana Suarez. Let's go further down. Joanna Jędrzejczyk. See, this is not really looking good for Angela Lee right now. I'm down to what, rank number 4 in the UFC's ranking. Number 5 if we include the champion. I don't think she's found a slot where she can beat the top girl yet. But she's competitive with a lot of them, and that says a lot in its own right, okay? So now moving down to Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Joanna Jędrzejczyk's not the same fighter she was when she was a champion. Yes, she looked good against Michelle Waterson. Michelle Waterson is a very small fighter, though, and she's a fighter that was tailor-made for Joanna to beat. But I think Joanna would probably still outstrike Angela Lee, give her a slight edge with experience, with volume, and even maybe technical proficiency. Angela Lee's a good fighter. She'll give her some trouble. You might be surprised with that one, especially with Joanna wearing away. I think as the time goes on, the gap smalls and gets smaller and smaller, and maybe in a few years you're going to see Angela Lee start to overtake her. But as of right now, I still have it towards Joanna, so I would still give that to Joanna. Speaking of Joanna, she just beat Michelle Waterson, who's ranked top 5 as well. Obviously, Nina Ansaroff is ranked just under Joanna, but just before we go to Nina Ansaroff, I thought Michelle Waterson's a good one to point out. She's a staple in the UFC. She's been around. She's main evented in the UFC. I think that's a great matchup for Angela Lee. I think Angela Lee would absolutely demolish her on the feet. She would keep it standing, and I think that's a fight that's very winnable for Angela Lee. So I would give her the edge over Michelle Waterson. Now with Nina Ansaroff, now we're talking about a 50-50 fight. Nina Ansaroff's a striker with an 11-6 record. Now her record shouldn't really do her any disservice because it doesn't demonstrate how good she is. But whilst I do think Nina Ansaroff's a talented fighter, I think Angela Lee should be able to have the tools to get that done, because I believe her to be a tiny bit more well-rounded. That being said, this is a completely 50-50 fight, and I'll put her right in there with a shot to win that fight. Doesn't mean I think she will definitely win. I think she has a shot at winning that fight. So guys, I'm not going to go through the whole rankings. I've just practically said the whole top 5 will beat Angela Lee. But there were some really competitive fights in there for Angela Lee, in my opinion. And the fighters like Michelle Waterson that I definitely think she beats. And if we look further down in the rankings and we're looking at fighters like Randa Marcos and Ashley Yoder, Claudia Gadelha, even in this day and age, I think Claudia Gadelha in this day and age, I think Angela Lee beats those fighters at this time. So she fits nicely in that top 10. So yes, maybe she's not world championship caliber when it comes to the UFC, or maybe not even top 5. But she's top 10, and that makes her elite. Being a top 10 best fighter in the entire world makes you an elite fighter. And I think Angela Lee's a great fighter who brings a lot of excitement to the fights. Every time she fights, there's tons of fanfare. She's a superstar over in Asia for obvious reasons. And I think that as fans, we should really be giving her an opportunity to show her abilities to us and really support her and support all mixed martial arts. So any fight fans, why don't you comment below with your opinions on this, and let me know how you guys think she will do in the more crowded waters of the UFC's 115-pound division. How do you think she does against some of the ladies? And let me know what you guys thought of the videos. If you guys got any video requests, remember to comment them below. Anyways guys, thank you for watching. I'm Rohan. This is Mindful Combat. Thank you.